Imagine with me a world where everyone treats every single person they meet as the one. A world where we are really tapping into the truth that we are one planet, one humanity, one love, and one respect for each other. Now, I want you to think for a moment over the course of the past week or two and just reflect. Did you have any times where you may have felt frustrated, upset, angry, downright pissed off? Probably you may have experienced something like that. And would you also reflect when you felt those things? Was there another human being involved? People, they're everywhere. People are what we are here to experience with each other, to share with each other. Yet then why do we have so many people problems? I am the author of a book called The One Philosophy. I am on a mission to get us all to the place where we can recognize the beautiful peace of love and humanity inside each and every one of us, to be able to look beyond those differences and divisions and disagreements, to get back to that sense of value and belonging that each and every one of us bring. But then there's people. I've been sharing on The One Philosophy for over a decade now. And in this time, people say, yes, I want to be that way, but you don't know about this person. He did me wrong. How am I supposed to trust? How am I supposed to do any of this? Where I can see everyone I meet as the one. I can see some, but certainly not everyone. As I've been sharing The One Philosophy, having people share with me how difficult it can be to get along with some people, where people are the path to everything we want in life, whether you're growing a business, you're in the people business, yes? In your family and your relationships, everything we want in life comes to us somehow, some way through other people. And I began to wonder, why is it there is not more opportunity for us to learn better people skills? You see, if we had better people skills, we could learn to be the one for each other. So what I'm here to share with you today are ways to improve your people skills, to continuously practice mastering being the one. Because when we do so, not only will you enjoy a happier, more productive, prosperous life, but the ripple effect in the world of the energy you now bring will make our world a better place. The One Philosophy, improving your people skills, is how you create a better life for yourself as well as humanity. So let's jump in. What we're going to cover today are a few things. So first of all, it's about monitoring and mastering your emotions so that you can be response-able. Not responsible, response-able, able to respond. Because I'm sure you would reflect that there are some times where somebody said something to you and you could just wipe it off, water off a duck's back, didn't bother you at all. But then somebody else said the same thing and you got all kinds of shades of pissed off, didn't you? Maybe you were irritable in that moment. Maybe you had a bad day, so you reacted differently. Maybe you ended up putting your foot in your mouth and you wish you hadn't. So I'm going to give you some strategies today to make all that better for you. Second, we're going to talk today and I'm going to give you some ways to really take a look at how the words that you use reveal what's happening in your subconscious mind. Because we can dream, we can say affirmations, we can intend to have the most extraordinary life, and you might be doing all the right things according to the books and the videos you're watching to create that perfect life. But maybe the results you're experiencing don't match what it is that you say that you want. I'm going to show you how to find the clues so that you can create the shifts to get what you truly want in your life. I'm going to share with you today about practicing verbal harmlessness to improve the quality of your life and those around you. And lastly, using the power of declarations to create some new results. So think back for a moment, and I want you to consider maybe the last time you got frustrated or upset or angry, disappointed, one of those emotions. Just be in that space just with me for a moment. And I want you to think about what really caused that upset. Was it the fact that your spouse left the toothpaste cover off the tube and it's dripping out? Was it that thing? Probably not. Was it the client that didn't come through? Or was it the emotions behind the thing that happened? And that's what we want to be able to take a look at, because whatever causes the upset, it's actually not the thing that happens. It's about how we think and feel about the thing that causes the upset. It's our emotions behind it. And emotional mastery is a term you've probably heard of, and knowing how to honor our emotions, express them without also damaging relationships around us is really where the mastery piece comes into play. When we take a look at emotions, I want to invite you to take a look at this quote with me, and I'll introduce you to a woman by the name of Morna Nalamaku Simeona, who is a Hawaiian priestess, goddess, Kamehameha, who has now since passed away. And she is the originator of a process called Ho'oponopono. And maybe you've heard of Ho'oponopono. I see a few of you have. So Ho'oponopono was originally an ancient forgiveness process used by tribes in Hawaii when they had disagreements between the tribes. And Morna took this process and updated it so that we could apply it to our lives. So imagine if warring tribes could use this process of Ho'oponopono to create agreement and bring them together and have peace among them. Imagine what that could do for our lives individually when we apply it. So let's get started, and I'll take you through this process. So Morna shares that we are the sum total of our experiences, which is to say that we are burdened by our pasts. We know we bring our past into our present, right? When we experience stress or fear in our lives, if we would look closely and carefully, we would find that the cause is actually a memory. Going further, she says, it's the emotions which are tied to these memories which affect us now. The subconscious mind associates an action or person in the present with something that happened in the past. And when this occurs, emotions are activated and stress is produced. So years ago, my daughter was in high school. And we were driving home. I picked her up from school, and I love to do that, pick her up every day, and she'd share with me all about her day. On this particular day, she was sharing about prom is coming up. And she wanted to know if she could use I had a beautiful rental property by the beach. She's like, Mom, can we use your house by the beach for the after prom party? And I was like, I don't know about that. Because you know what goes on there. And then I thought, they're going to have some kind of party. If they're at my house and they're not at a hotel, at least I can have her older brother chaperone. Everything will be fine. So I thought in a moment, and I said to her, yes, you can use that house for the prom party. And she's like, oh, great. And then I started recalling, bringing back my memories from the past about my prom. And I said to her, I didn't get to go to prom. And she's like, really? Why not? And I said, because I was fat and unpopular. And my daughter turns to me and says, well, I'm kind of chubby and don't have many friends. I'm going to prom. I'm like, oh, I love that. That's who you are, my daughter. Like, how great is that? But then I thought, so remember, my emotion in that moment and my belief of why I didn't go to prom All these memories, these experiences from the past that came through in that moment was because I thought I was fat and unpopular, and that's why I didn't get to go to prom. Well, when my daughter says, well, I'm kind of chubby and don't have many friends, and she's just lighthearted about it, I paused and I thought, well, you know what? As it turns out, in 10th grade, I switched high schools and went to a different high school, and I never really became friends with those people in the new school. And then I went to 11th grade and decided that I could take English over the summer and graduate. I never even had a senior year to have been able to go to prom. So here I am, 25 or so years later, with this revelation. So these experiences that I brought from the past, imagine just for a moment, the woman, the girl who thought she was fat and unpopular her whole entire life was telling herself a lie. Do you think that had an impact on the type of men that I chose to be with? You know, there was only a couple of alcoholics and drug addicts in the mix. Do you think the type of jobs that I chose? Do you think the fact that I got pregnant because I was, as a single woman, looking for love in all the wrong places? Our memories that we bring to our moment. We've got to take a look what's true, what's not true. And I invite us all, if you are thinking something about yourself that makes you feel bad, let's choose something else. I made up a story for 25, 30 years about who I was that was simply untrue. Our minds are like folktale factories, I call them, always making things up. So if you're making up something that makes you feel bad, let's make up something new. If you're making up something that feels bad about another person, when we're getting into judging people and if somebody's doing you wrong, we have the opportunity to make up something new. The question is, where do we want to move from? What emotions do we want to be feeling and operating from? And this is where, when we look at these different range of emotions that we can have, our reactions to things, as opposed to responding to things, it will set the course for what happens next. So let's take a look at the range of emotions. And you may be familiar with this diagram on the scene. This is a combination from Abraham Hicks and also is in alignment with David Hawkins' scale of consciousness and the different energy and emotions that we experience. So down at the bottom, which I refer to as emotions that are below the line. So if you've got emotions, you know, anger, hurt, guilt, shame, all of those things, and you are responding or reacting from those emotions, you're actually carrying those emotions out to other people. You know, imagine everywhere we go in life, we're like a cup of hot, hot coffee walking around. And if you're, whatever is in your cup, you're going to be pouring it into the people next to you, right? You want to do hot scalding water, or do you want to have flowers and beautiful things that you're sharing, a beautiful sense, right? So the key to responding and mastering your emotions is to be able to notice when you're feeling below the line or above the line in your emotions, and to be able to respond from above the line. When we respond from above the line, which is when we are operating, I'm going to do a little brain stuff here for you as well. When we are operating from above the line, we're in our prefrontal cortex, which is where creativity, ideas, love, win-win scenarios, and inspired action come from. When we are operating from below the line, we're in our limbic brain, which is where you feel stuck, angst, confusion, frustration, competitiveness, win-lose scenarios. That's where this fight or flight exists, and it's important and it has its place, typically not in our day-to-day interactions with one another. The life with other people that keeps relationships blossoming and growing is a life that is created from mostly interactions where we're responding from above the line, what I like to refer to as our superconscious or our higher selves. When we operate from the subconscious, from our fears, our doubts, and our worries, it's really not our best selves now, is it? the more we can learn to shift, and we're going to have those emotions. We are emotional beings. It's going to happen. But not getting stuck there or reacting from there will change the dynamic of all your relationships. So the key is to be able to stay above the line. And here's a clue when you can take a look at your emotions and see what you're feeling. So when we're operating from the ego or the conscious mind, you're in a state of finding things wrong, feeling hurt, disappointed, disrespected, feeling wronged, fear, worry, and doubt. When you're operating from your superconscious or your higher self, you're in a state of perfection, feeling loved and loving, trusting, having faith and creativity. Now, I just ask you in this moment, which place would you rather live your life from? You get to choose. You get to choose, and you may not think you have a choice, but awareness as to which state you're in is the beginning of being able to create the shift and intentionally decide where you want to operate from. So think for a moment, which life, which state is more likely to bring about positive, happy relationships, more abundance, more opportunities, more magic, more laughter, more love? Doesn't it make sense that we seek a way to spend most of our time operating from that higher self? And this is where, once again, Ho'oponopono is going to come into play. So Ho'oponopono is a process where you can shift from those lower vibrations, that below the line that I referred to a minute ago, to be able to shift to operate from your superconscious, from those higher states. And I'm going to share with you how you can do that. So this is a process where we get to clear what is happening for us. We get to release the emotional triggers and be able to operate from a state of love. So think for a moment, have you ever felt like just so sad and lonely or upset about something? And then somebody came and just hugged you and just cradled you and let you be? And the emotion of sadness or frustration melted away, and you just tapped back into that feeling of being loved. That transition, that transmutation of energy is available to you at any given moment through this powerful prayer that I'm about to share with you. This gentleman is Dr. Ihaliaka Hulin. I think I got it right. And he was a student of Morna Nalamaku Simeonas. I'm practicing them because I want to honor them as best as I can. So Dr. Hulin was a student of Morna, and he went on to use this prayer and share it all over the world so that we can continue to bring more love and forgiveness into the world. And this prayer of Ho'oponopono is these 4 simple phrases. It doesn't matter which order, the order in which you say them. What matters is the intention underneath it. And I'm going to share with you now how to use it so that you can create a shift. And let me just share how I use this, right? So I was in a meeting the other day with my business partners, and we were on Zoom, as many of us are these days. And we're bringing different ideas to the table of how we can solve a particular problem, how we can create more revenue for the business. And as I was listening, full disclosure, I'm sitting there with my Judge Judy hat on going, well, I can't believe they won't do this, but have you ever done it? Come on. I know you have. We all do. It's part of our humanity. It's just what happens. But because I am hyper aware and want to operate from a higher state of consciousness, I notice and I create awareness. So I notice my little Judge Judy just kicked in, and I start and I say this prayer. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry. And what I'm doing is I'm saying, please forgive me for being this judging machine. I am so sorry, I trust in the process, please forgive me. Here's how it works and how you can use it too. So with this prayer, step 1 is an awareness that you're feeling something below the line. So you've got to acknowledge it. Step 2 is to acknowledge that feeling or that thought. Oh, I noticed I was being Judge Judy. Step 3 is, step 2 again, notice where those emotions are. And here's the key. And sometimes people get a little confused about how Ho'oponopono works here. And they think they're doing this prayer of forgiveness to forgive the other person for being such an idiot. No, that's not how it goes. I'm forgiving myself for judging them as an idiot. It's not my job. It's not my job to judge someone else. My job is to be as much operating from love as possible. So I want to clean and clear whatever is in me that's being judgmental or feeling hurt or worrying, rather than tapping into the space of love that I know is available. Anchor back. Remember that feeling when somebody just cradles you? This is how we can do this for ourselves and create this shift. So step 1, have the awareness that you went below the line, acknowledge whatever that feeling is. And then in step 3, you use this prayer to create the shift. And simply remember that you're speaking to Source, Divine, Universe, God about yourself, not about the other person or the event. And here's the intention behind the 4 sentences. So I'm sorry. So I'm sorry for having fears that, there's not enough money and I need this client, or I'm not good enough, or whatever the thing is that's coming up inside of you, causing you to feel below the line. Please forgive me for having these thoughts and forgetting that I'm always taken care of, that everything is working out in perfect order. Thank you for erasing these fears from my mind and from my spirit. I love you for taking care of me and my mindset to allow me to continue to move forward. So I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. When you're doing this, I invite you to consider, so if you're feeling that, whatever that yuckiness is, even if it's hurt, if it's anger, if it's sadness, if it's grief, we don't want to stay in that place. We want to operate and respond from a higher place of creativity, of love, of inspiration. We want to operate from inspiration rather than desperation. So if you're in business and you're feeling desperate, oh, I need to get this client. Well, no. If I'm feeling this, I must be disconnected from the feeling of love from my higher self. I just want to get back in that state and trust what comes next. Because the trusting part will bring the most beautiful things. So when you're in that space and you do that little prayer, imagine this yucky feeling, I'll call it, that you might have inside of you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I visualize, I'm a very visual learner, I visualize like just throwing it up into the heavens, clearing it out of me so that I can be a clear slate for inspiration to come in. Because you all know, when we can get out of that feeling of desperation, worry, and doubt, inspired ideas come. How many of you get great ideas in the shower? Right? It's quiet. There's no noise. You get to be with just you and this space of infinite intelligence that is here to support you in carrying out your highest and best. So phase 1 of having better people skills is to be able to master your emotions and using tools such as Ho'oponopono to shift, to be able to respond no matter what shows up. The second thing I want to share today is about the power of our words. And we're going to wave our magic wand. Abracadabra. And this is about harnessing the power of your words to improve your own life. Now, the phrase abracadabra, you've heard it from movies and, Aladdin, abracadabra, there's magic. But did you know what it actually means? The Arabic interpretation is, what I speak, I create. Our words create our life. If you are right now not having the experience of life that you would really love to have, chances are your words are going to indicate the beliefs that are actually running the show. Let me take you a little bit deeper into this. We're going to go through a process where you learn to change your words and you can change your life for the better. Before we dive in, I want to invite you to be PC with yourself. And in this world today, we probably think I mean politically correct. No. Be PC with yourself. Remember, as far as your words go, that we are always prophesizing the condition of our life through our words. Second, I want you to be persistently compassionate with yourself. As you're setting on this path to improve your people skills, to get better at this so you can be the one for yourself and for others, be persistently compassionate as you continuously practice and improve. You see, our thoughts set the course for the quality of our lives. And I like to use this little diagram that our thoughts create our words create our actions, and then our actions lead to our results. Most often when people are saying, oh, things aren't going the way I want them to be, so they say, I don't like the result, I'm going to change the action. And action is important. We are here at Action Talks and the Action Hour platform. Action is key. But where is the action driven from? We want to go backwards too, recognizing that if you really want to change the results, we got to go all the way back to the thoughts and change the thinking that drives the words, that drives the actions, that creates the results. The thing is, thoughts are sneaky. They're buried deep inside of the subconscious, and they don't want you to necessarily change them. You see, your subconscious mind has a very, very important job. Its prime directive is to keep you alive. And the best way it knows to keep you alive is to keep everything the same. So while you're at an event, watching this video, reading books, wanting to dream bigger and go for more, and you're like, yes, I'm going to do all this stuff, it is going to be amazing. Your little subconscious goes, whoa, Nellie, I don't know how to keep you safe and alive in that new environment. So let me have you procrastinate. Let me distract you with all of these things. The subconscious mind wants to keep you the same. So in order to create the changes we want in our subconscious mind to create different results, one of the best ways we can see to create change is through the power of our words. Because if there are limited beliefs in your subconscious, and what I mean by that is thoughts that don't align with the higher self or the new you that you're wanting to live into, the words are going to be indicators that there's something in there that's not fully aligned. So let's take a look. Again, it's about using the words as a way to find this. T. Harv Eker has said, if you want to change the fruits, you will first have to change the roots. If you want to change the visible, you must first change the invisible. And I talked a moment ago about the conscious and the subconscious. So the conscious mind's your words, subconscious is your thoughts, and the key is the subconscious is going to run the show. It's going to trigger those words, which then create the actions and create the results. And there's so much more in the subconscious than there is in the conscious, and we can use the conscious to find those clues to what needs to be shifted. So we're going to do a language checkup, and this is about self-awareness and being vigilant with the type of language that you're using to create more positive outcomes in your life. So this book is phenomenal. It's one of my mentors, Dr. Yvonne Oswald, and her book is called Every Word Has Power. Feel free to check it out. I want to share with you, there's a list here of different words for you to create an awareness if you're using these in your language patterns. So for example, if you use failure, put down, poor. Oh my gosh. The other day, I was having a really rough day. My computer got hacked. I had to stay up all night. I did a PowerPoint and then it crashed. And then, like, you ever have just one of those days where things aren't going well? And then I was complaining, I must admit, I was complaining, this happened and that happened. And somebody said to me, "Oh, you poor thing." I was like, no, don't prophesize that over me. Right? Notice there's a clue there. And I was, emotionally charged by it. I was like, "Ooh, please, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you." Clear whatever's in me that's even being triggered by that. But notice our language. If you say no problem, you're actually saying problem because the brain doesn't hear the word no. If you say have to, "Oh, I have to do this," there's actually a sense of obligation rather than "I get to." "Oh, I have to open my email. I have to." No, I don't have to. I get to go through my email and see all the new opportunities that are in there. I get to meet with clients. I get to do presentations. I get to do these things. Notice the energy behind what you're bringing to your language. So go through this list. And for those of you watching this, you're going to be able to take this list. And I have some suggestions for replacements for how you can switch. So rather than saying, "Oh, I failed," "Oh, this was a great learning opportunity." Rather than saying something is difficult or hard, switch to not easy. Because if the brain doesn't hear not, it hears easy. Instead of saying a problem, it's challenge. The brain loves to solve challenges, something interesting. So take this list, take some time, and see where you can make some shifts to switch up low energy words, operating from that lower subconscious limbic brain, to switch to higher energy words. And as you do this, you will notice how your life will change moment by moment by moment. Because the key is, as we're growing, as we're advancing, as we're wanting more in our lives, and we're stretching and enjoying more and more, it's about coming into alignment with that future you that you're creating. So we want to use prayers like Ho'oponopono. We want to use language checkups to consistently grow ourselves to those next levels of advancement. I would imagine some of you here would like to have more money. Is that true? Just, put a comment below or go ahead and let me know. Yeah, I would enjoy more money. And as a matter of fact, yes, I want an awesome relationship with lots and lots of money. I love money. Is your language around money reflective of that relationship? So let's take a look at the power of your words and money. And this is a term I made up that relates to looking at what is your money energy or your monergy. Now, from John Randolph Price's book, The Abundance Book, he says that money is actually my own natural energy yield. So take a look at your financial situation right now. It's your own natural energy yield. So I say to you, if the money's not where you really would love it to be, we need to look at the energy. To look at the energy, we look at the thoughts. To look at the thoughts, we follow the words. So let's take a look at some of the words about money that may reveal some beliefs that you want to create a shift around. So somebody says, "Oh, let's go to this. Oh, it's too expensive." How about, "Oh, I can't afford that." "Oh, it takes money to make money." "Oh, I'll never be able to," or whatever the story is. If you're using these type of words around money, then we want to create a shift because money is everywhere. Money is abundant. And the more we align with the energy of the abundance of money, the more that we will have and stay in that higher creative space. The challenge for many of us, myself included, is when I was brought up, it was a time where my mother said, money doesn't grow on trees. TV shows showed rich people as mean and nasty and greedy, right? Money is the root of all evil. Rich people are, fill in the blank, mean, sleazy, ruthless, whatever that was. Bunch of crap around money. In order for me to win, someone has to lose. There isn't enough to go around. Having money is selfish. Wanting money is greedy. Having more money means I'll have more problems. Oh, if I have too much money, I'll lose my values. Now, one or some may strike a chord with you. We want to create shifts. We want to change this because it's not the way it's meant to be. And here's the thing. If one person, just one person, can be wealthy beyond measure and generous and giving and kind and loving and enjoy their lives and be of service to others, that means we all can. It means we all can. So let's create those shifts. So awareness, what's happening, what's coming out of your mouth, what are those thoughts? And then we get to clean it up. Use the prayer of Ho'oponopono to clean and clear whatever may be showing up for you around this. It's just some old programming. And then create some new declarations. Let's challenge those limiting beliefs if they should surface, so that something like money is the root of all evil. How about money is the root of all philanthropy? Money is the root of great vacations. Money might be the root of evil for someone who is evil, but I am a loving, generous, compassionate, and kind person who will use money to create good in the world. What do you want to make up about it? Choose it, and choose it powerfully. The last piece for me to share with you today is something called practicing verbal harmlessness. The tongue has no bones, but is strong enough to break a heart. So be careful with your words. Words are free. It's how you use them that may cost you. Kind words are a creative force, a power that concurs in the building up of all that is good and energy that showers blessings upon the world. Practicing verbal harmlessness is about using only kind words wherever you go, especially in your own mind. Practice verbal harmlessness for yourself, keeping your words kind and positive, both about others and yourself, because negative self-talk can produce the most damaging of all. Practice verbal harmlessness. I invite you to use the power of declarations every single day. And this is something that I've been doing for so many years, is I wake up in the morning and I am a big proponent of intentionally deciding how I want my day to be. So first of all, most of us these days probably use our phone as our alarm clock. If you do, only pick it up, turn the alarm off, put the phone down. Do not pick up the news, go through your email, because the minute you do, you just like sucked your day away to the power of everyone else. I choose how I experience my day. So an invitation is choose 3 words to describe how you will experience your day. Today I chose fun, light, and happy. Fun, light, and happy. Create affirmations or mantras around your desired outcomes. What do you want? Create some of those for yourself. And my favorite one that I share these days is I am in vibrational alignment with everything I wish to experience. So again, if you're experiencing something and like, oh, I didn't want that, remember, we are the creators of everything that happens. So if there's something going on in your life that you're less than pleased with, how do you need to change to create the change around you? By employing these strategies to be more responsible rather than reactionary, to practice verbal harmlessness, to notice what your words are prophesizing. These are the ways that we can create better relationships with all the people in our lives. These are the ways that we can actually show up and be the one for ourselves and for everyone around us. And in this beautiful flow of following these processes, we get to remember that this is one planet, one humanity, one love, one respect. Be the ones, my friends. Thank you so much.